Ball State Unified Media. You're waking up with Cardinal Weather, live from the Ball State Weather Center.
When I wake up in the morning, love.
You're waking up with Cardinal Weather. I'm Morgan Fisher.
And I'm Amelia Winter. We come to you with breaking news. In Valparaiso, Indiana, an international graduate student, Varad Rajpucha, was stabbed at Valparaiso University. The students at the university are still reeling from the incident. Mahar Kawash reports.
Across campus at Valparaiso University today, as students try to wrap their head around a stabbing that sent a grad student to the hospital. Police say Varun Rajpuka was at Planet Fitness near the university on Sunday morning when a man stabbed him in the head. Students are anxious for more details from the investigation.
I know a lot of the students have been impacted by it, especially our international students. I don't know how they feel at this time. I hope they feel safe on campus.
Police have identified the suspect, 24-year-old Jordan Andrade from Porter Township, who now faces charges of attempted murder and aggravated battery. Varun's roommate did not want to talk to us on camera today, but says his friend is still unconscious at the hospital and still not able to move the left side of his body. Most of his family lives in India, so students at the university gathered to pray for him and his family.
Chapel break's very important to us, to take time to think about things, to pray, stuff like that. So for them to honor him in this way, I think is very good.
Police have not revealed a motive behind the stabbing. Varun's roommate tells me the victim has no prior relationship to that suspect. The school issuing a statement saying, quote, "We are shocked and saddened by the attack on Varun Rajpuka. At Valparaiso University, we consider each other family, and this incident is horrifying for us all. Our thoughts and prayers are with all of his friends and family."
Indiana State Police reported 284 accidents involving farm equipment and other motor vehicles. Indiana State Police are reminding Hoosier drivers that fall harvest season is in full swing and to expect delays involving agricultural equipment on the roadways. Drivers can expect to see large combines, tractors pulling grain carts, and other farming vehicles on roadways. Police also say you should also slow down if you see agricultural equipment and to use caution when passing. Officials say it's important to exercise patience and to ensure you have plenty of time to get to your destination. Of those over 200 accidents last year, 84 of those resulted in injury, with 2 even being fatal.
Right now, it's pretty cold across Indiana right now. If we look up here in Muncie, 41 degrees and 37 in Indianapolis. Pretty consistent temperatures throughout the state. As we hover around that 40-degree mark this morning, very cool. It was a very long walk into the studio this morning because of those cool temperatures. But fortunately, we aren't going to stay around there forever as we warm up as we head into the early evening today. Looking at 8 a.m., 37 degrees, warming up quite a bit, 43 at 10, 54 at noon, 58 degrees, a very distinguished high today. You can see between 57 and 57, very clear when we're going to hit our high temperature for the day, around 58 degrees as we are warming up throughout the day. And conditions are going to continue to warm up as we head into the weekend as well. And if you want to find out more, I've got strong gusts coming in this evening, warming temperatures as we head into the next couple of days, as well as a rainy start to next work week. So if you want to hear more about that, you're definitely going to want to check in to my full forecast later on in the show.
Thank you, Ian. Some families are stitched together through love and by design.
Newslink Indiana's Grace Pentkowski got a closer look at one family business, Dream Dilly Designs and Graphics.
In 2021, I started thumbing around. I've always been a crafty person. I've sewed, I've crocheted, I've knitted my whole life. And I've always given handmade gifts.
Angie Fortivai, president and founder of Dream Dilly, started her home-based craft business at the height of the pandemic.
When COVID hit, we were bored to death, and I had been researching the Cricut machine for a long time, and I was always intimidated by it because I didn't get in that part of crafting.
Fortivai was able to get her first Cricut from a woman in Marion, which she said changed everything.
And we went and picked it up, and that changed just the whole dynamics of what I wanted to do. And I was like, I could probably do this for a living.
Quickly, she gained a customer base and gave her products as gifts. Fortify knew she needed some extra hands, so she reached out to her in-laws.
Then these two young ladies came into the factor, Kaya and then Miss Kelsey, and then my sister-in-law as well. We just came together. That's where the 4 flowers come from, on the Dream Dilly.
And the 4 flowers have been growing their business ever since.
Together we just come up with some fantastic designs, and we can really implement it on any substrate. It doesn't make a difference if we embroider it, if we vinyl it, if we put it together in a basket. The more of the challenge, the better. We've not found anything we can't conquer, really.
Fortify says the family is looking to open an online storefront soon, but for now, you can find their gifts on Facebook, which include custom embroidery, vinyl work, tumblers, and more. In Eaton, Grace Benkowski, Newslink, Indiana.
A North American Stadium Tour for 2024. Green Day's The Saviors Tour spotlights the group's 14th studio album and celebrates notable past album releases. The iconic rock band is made up of Billy Joel Armstrong, Mike Durant, and Trey Cool. The U.S. and Canadian leg of the tour will kick off next July 29th at Nationals Park in Washington, D.C. The group will make 20 stops over the summer, and the tour will end on September 28th in San Diego. Tickets go on sale starting November 10th.
The last song the Beatles ever recorded was released on Thursday, decades after John Lennon wrote it and more than 50 years after the band split. Lennon recorded a demo of his vocals for the song titled Now and Again in the late 1970s. He was assassinated in 1980, but his widow, Yoko Ono, gave the demo to the remaining Beatle members in 1994. The track was then worked on by Paul McCartney, Ringo Starr, and George Harrison for a year, but they couldn't separate Lennon's voice from a sound of a piano on the track. After Harrison died in 2001, it took McCartney and Starr more than 2 decades to begin working on the song again. AI was used to isolate Lennon's voice from a demo track for the 2021 docuseries, The Beatles, Get Back. McCartney then redid the bass, Ringo added the drums, and they kept Harrison's guitar parts from 1995. Just ahead, climate change is on the rise. See what needs to be done and who's listening in.
That's after your weather now. Back. A humane society west of Toronto has cared for thousands of pets for decades, while also providing a financial resting place for hundreds of animals, and now it's on the move.
As Adrian Gabriel reports, with a massive undertaking at the site's pet cemetery in the depths of a group of university students are reaching to honor the memory and remains of some cherished family members.
Hallows Eve may have passed, but at this cemetery they're just beginning to unearth the dead. The discovery of a pint-sized coffin, just one of hundreds yet to be disinterred at this Humane Society in Oakville, Ontario. Doing the digging, University of Toronto forensic science students.
We're opening the grave walls, making sure that we have the entire pet, and then we work slowly to get all the remains out.
Dogs, cats, birds, even a horse are laid to rest here, the earliest dating back to the 1950s. In all, there's roughly 580 plots at this pet cemetery.
There are multiple animal companions in many of the graves. The ladies over here, there were 4 pets in that particular grave site.
With this location now for sale, the plan is to move all of the remains to the new site. But first, the Humane Society must try and track down the owners for each of these long since deceased pets.
We've lost contact with many families. So we've mailed out, we've reached out, we've called out, and we've tried to connect with as many people as possible.
It's serious, painstaking work, but there's also been moments of levity, from finding a pet buried with their favorite toy to the unique caskets uncovered.
We've had a KFC bucket, I believe.
These are delicate digs. With winter coming, the whole project will hit pause and could take up to 2 years to complete.
What are some of the big challenges you faced here?
Primarily, I would say the clay. The
Soil.
soil itself is really hard once you get to a certain point.
Undeterred with shovels and sifters in hand, many here say they're digging into this work with their hearts.
We live with our animal companions day in and day out, every day, and they are very much a part of our family.
Those volunteering here have made a promise that no animal will be left behind.
Scientist who first sounded the alarm on climate change decades ago has another warning. James Hansen, a director at the Earth Institute at Columbia University, says the planet is on track to heat up at a much faster rate than scientists previously predicted, and will likely surpass key global warming levels this decade. In a paper published Thursday in the journal Oxford Open Climate Change, Hansen and more than a dozen other scientists looked at how ecosystems have responded to climate and environmental changes in the past, specifically studying polar ice cores and tree rings. They found the Earth is much more sensitive to climate change than previously understood, and a climate emergency has already begun. According to the research, warming will exceed 1.5 degrees Celsius this decade and will exceed 2 degrees Celsius before 2050. This world has seen unprecedented heat. This year is set to be the hottest on record.
As the global temperature continues to rise, the UN is saying that no one is doing enough to combat it. According to the United Nations report published Thursday, we're not spending enough money to prepare vulnerable countries for natural disasters caused by climate change. The UN Environment Programme's annual Adaptation Gap report says the impacts from climate change are accelerating while measures to adapt to climate change in the developing world are slowing, leaving billions of people increasingly vulnerable to extreme heat, worsening storms, and sea level rise. The estimated costs to fully prepare low-income nations for the worst effects of a rapidly heating planet are now at least 10 times greater than the amount of money currently flowing to these regions. The report shows the world can still prevent the mounting economic toll from climate disasters. The issue is expected to be a key sticking point in climate negotiations at the COP28 talks in Dubai this December, which is going to feature a very impressive guest.
Pope Francis is planning to go to the UN's Climate Summit in Dubai. The COP28 Climate Conference is being held November 30th to December 12th. The Pope told Italy's state-run TV on Wednesday he will be at the conference for the first 3 days of December. He will be the first pontiff to ever attend in person.
The national radar right now is pretty quiet across the country. You got some rain in Montana that is becoming snow as you move further north, and a little bit of showers in Minnesota, but overall, pretty quiet day across the country. Where it's not quiet are the current watches and warnings. As you can see in central Georgia, you have a frost advisory for much of Peach Country that includes Macon and goes into South Carolina near Charleston. But in metro Atlanta, you actually have a freeze warning. That's for much of Fulton County, Gwinnett County, just overall much of the metro Atlanta area, which could potentially damage your crops and your plants that you might have outside. When you move north to Montana, you are currently under a winter weather advisory. You have the chance of some freezing rain and snow that could potentially make road traveling a bit hazardous, but overall that will expire later today and you should be in the clear. When you move into Washington, you currently have a dense fog advisory that could potentially make taking the kids to school this morning a bit hazardous. You might want to take the travel on the road a little bit slower, but overall it will dissipate as you go throughout the day. And finally, the final watches and warnings are in Wyoming. As you can see, the watch in eastern Wyoming, you will have winds blowing 30 to 40 miles per hour with gusts up to 60 miles per hour, while the warning in central Wyoming, you will have winds blowing 35 to 45 miles per hour and gusts up to 65. Definitely not the best day to do your hair for because it will get messed up. Looking at your current temperatures, it's actually kind of consistent across the country. 41 in Muncie, 47 in Kansas City. Over in Las Vegas, you're at 52 degrees, and in Los Angeles, you're at 56. Definitely kind of consistent across the country, but that will change later today. As you can see, a variety of temperatures, 58 in Cincinnati, 64 in Kansas City. Over in Los Angeles, you're at 71, and in Miami, you are at 79. That is overall warmer in the south than normal, as you can see, above average temperatures, while in the northeast, you are looking at below average temperatures, and in much of the west, you are looking at temperatures that are normal for this time of year. Also looking at the precipitation outlook, you're looking at above average precipitation in much of Texas and the west coast, while below average precipitation in Arizona and the northeast. So I don't know about you guys, but I am already sick of this cold weather, and I want the warm weather from last week to return. What do you guys think?
I know. After seeing those temperatures, oh my gosh, I'm scared. I definitely want that warm weather back. I am not ready for winter at all.
I am not. This is definitely a preview of winter weather, and I am not ready for it. I am just ready for the warm and the summer.
Me too, but I saw that it's going to start to rise soon, so hopefully we'll get that warm weather back in because it's not winter time yet. We are still in fall. We need that fall weather.
Thanks.
Yes.
Thanks, Joe.
Thank you so much. In just a moment, see the wonderful game for a wonderful cause.
That's after your weather now.
The current time is 8:17, and despite the chilly weather, one football team is still at it.
To take a visit over to Parker City, Monroe Central football team preps for their biggest game of the season. Newslink Indiana's Demar Robinson makes his way to practice to learn more.
Winning the game is the expectation for every football team. But when it comes to Monroe Central football, head coach John Hosteller says that his team is playing to on Sheridan tomorrow night at home for the chance to be 1A sectional champions. Just last week, the Golden Bears took down Westdale 43-34. But for Coach Hosteller, to win this game means surviving to the next.
We're at that point of the season where we're playing to survive. So they all know that. And they don't ever, even in high school, they don't want this thing to end. So tomorrow night's about survival.
Junior fullback Deion Sloss knows the importance of living in the moment and taking every day at a time.
Like, it's just a process and the mindset that you have with it. You got to like the journey more than the outcome, and that's kind of what the coaches have been teaching us.
And to senior Jackson Medlin, just showing up, doing the work, and uplifting his teammates will better their chances for a victory.
Come here, practice every day. I push myself as much as I can. Try to lift up my teammates. You know, a lot of them have had some low spirits lately, but I think we can push through this game and take home the win.
The winner of this matchup takes on the winner of the North Decatur versus Milan game for a chance to push their season further into November, and hopefully for a visit to Lucas Oil Stadium. Kickoff is set for 7 p.m. at Monroe Central. In Parker City, Demar Robinson, Newslink, Indiana.
The sports world continues to mourn the loss of basketball legendary Hall of Fame college basketball coach Bobby Knight died Wednesday, surrounded by family. He was 83. He was one of the sport's winningest yet polarizing figures. In a statement, Knight's family said they are, quote, grateful for all the prayers and thoughts and asking for privacy. Knight won 902 games as a college coach, leading teams at Army, Indiana University, and Texas Tech. It is at Indiana where his legend status was cemented, winning a school record 661 games, making the NCAA tournament 24 times. The Hoosiers won 3 national championships in his 29 years at the school. He retired from the college game in 2008. Knight's resume also included leading the USA men's Olympic team to a gold medal in 1984. Reaction to Knight's passing includes from Indiana's University's current president.
Playing with a purpose. The game of flag football meant more to one Ball State fraternity over the weekend. Newslink Indiana's Andy Newman has more.
For many, fond childhood memories of backyard football and the brisk fall breeze are easy to come by. And the brothers of Phi Delta Theta wanted to bring that atmosphere right back with a flag football tournament.
We thought maybe we could have an event that's like a little more casual flag football event where anyone could show up, make a team of 5, have a good time.
So a lot of our guys played football in high school, which was really exciting, so they were really amped to do this, but we really just wanted to put it on and see how big we could make it.
But how big the event could be was for more than just the love of the game, as all the tournament's proceeds were handed off to something greater.
ALS, it's also called Lou Gehrig's disease, which Lou Gehrig was actually a Phi Delta Theta. And so the reason why our philanthropy all goes towards that is because he died of that disease, right? We just want to put all our funds, all of our money into that, into researching and being able to find a cure for that in the future. So that's where all of our funds, any proceeds made at this event and all of our other philanthropy events, all goes towards ALS.
And the brothers hope to continue to reel in more funds for the organization in the years to come.
We're planning on having just like a yearly event and trying to get it bigger and bigger and have more teams involved in sororities, fraternities, and student life in general.
In Muncie, Andy Newman, Newslink, Indiana.
Disclosure, some members of Newslink Indiana Sports are a part of Phi Delta Theta.
Right now across Indiana, it is quite cool. Not my ideal football weather, but definitely some of you will enjoy it. Right now in Muncie, 41 degrees, 37 in Indianapolis, 40 in Kokomo. Very consistent temperatures across the state as we hover around that 40-degree mark throughout the state. And we are eventually going to warm up as we head throughout the day, however. Looking at 1 p.m., 56 degrees, hitting our high around 58 and 59 around 2 and 3 p.m. We'll start to cool down, though, around 6 p.m. as we head into the evening. And those warming temperatures will not bring with them any notable weather conditions, but we have actually warmed up when we put everything into context over the past couple of days. Look at these 24-hour temperature changes. 7-degree temperature change in Muncie, 6 in Indianapolis, 9 in Kokomo. Across the state, we have been warming all the way up, but we have still seen clear skies over the past couple of days. Looking at our precision cast and radar, not much going on in Delaware County today, but as we head out throughout the country, bit of activity up towards Wisconsin and the Great Lakes region as well. And as we look at tomorrow as well, it is going to be, the cloud cover is going to dominate the morning, looking at 9 a.m., going all the way down to 5 p.m. Those clouds are going to start to dissipate as we warm up. 51 at noon, 58 at 5 p.m. However, that does not mean we are going to have clear skies, and that doesn't mean it's going to be warm. Because check out these wind gusts, 25 mile-per-hour gusts in Winchester, 22 in Muncie and Marion as well. Those strong gusts are going to keep these warmer temperatures to feel a lot cooler over the next couple of days, but they are going to dissipate as we head into this evening, so we will get a brief break from those strong winds as we head into the rest of the day. And looking again at that radar precision cast, not much around Delaware County, but as we head into the next couple of days, let's look at Saturday at 2 a.m. Those showers are going to start to move across the county, and most of them will come as we head into the early morning, but leaving before most of you will be out of your house tomorrow. As we look at tonight as well, before those showers arrive, cloudy conditions as those clouds move back in, moving with those showers, 48 degrees. Again, those strong gusts at 26 miles per hour. We are definitely going to want to keep an eye out for those as you head into the next couple of days. But tomorrow, again, we are going to get a brief break from notable conditions. 60 degrees on Saturday, 61 on Sunday. Pretty similar conditions over those 2 days. But throughout the rest of the week, we are going to start to see some showers. 20% chance Monday evening, heading into 30% on Tuesday. Chance of thunderstorms on Wednesday as well, 40%. I kind of like just watching the rain, so I'm actually looking forward to these conditions over the next couple of days.
I am too. I'm so glad that we're starting to see winter, and it's just in time for Christmas time.
Yes. Thank you so much, Ian.
Nike is out with a new shoe designed to help toddlers learn to walk. It's called the Nike Swoosh 1. The company says the Early Walker shoe is the first Nike kid shoe to get the American Pediatric Medical Association seal of acceptance. According to Nike's website, the Nike Swoosh 1 promotes natural gait development, which says it's important for early walkers. The shoe releases in size 3C through 7C.
Disney announced Wednesday it plans to acquire Comcast's 33% share in Hulu. The expected $8.6 billion deal will make the House of Mouse the sole owner of the streaming giant. That means Disney will own Hulu, Disney Plus, and ESPN Plus. CEO Bob Iger also has said his company might sell its ABC television division and seek a strategic partner for ESPN. It fits with Disney's overall strategy of shifting away from linear television to streaming. Comcast has spent the past several years shifting its program to its own streaming service, Peacock. Meanwhile, Hulu has been bolstering in its own offerings of original programming like The Handmaid's Tale and Reservation Dogs.
In just a moment, we're breaking down the science. Check what's in store.
That's after your weather now.
From the heart of Ball State to the heart of your community, NewsLink Indiana brings you local and state news you care about. We pride ourselves with giving you the most reliable news coverage, stories that affect you, linking you to the community each night on air and online. NewsLink Indiana, bringing news to the heart of your community.
We're going to send it over to Olivia Smithers with our look at breaking down the science.
Thanks, guys. So today's topic for breaking down the science is daylight saving time. So this Sunday at 2 a.m., make sure you set your clocks back 1 hour and get that extra hour of sleep. Much better than the spring forward. That's one of my least favorite days of the year. So why do we do this? To get more sunlight earlier in the day and then reduce energy consumption. Now, in many countries implemented daylight saving time in World War II, and then it was reintroduced in it was first implemented in World War I and then re-implemented in World War II. Germany was the first country to do it just for reduced energy consumption, like I said, and more fuel efficient resources. And then in 1966, with the Uniform Time Act, this was passed, and all of the states could choose whether or not they wanted to implement daylight saving time. And all 50 states except Hawaii, and then most of Arizona use this. So the science behind this is basically solar time is based off the Earth's position and the sun position, and then standard time based off each zone of latitude and longitude. This is where daylight saving time comes about. So it's just more sunlight for the hours of the day. But in the southern hemisphere, this is reversed, and they spring back and fall forward. They have it all reversed. Another fun fact here is astronomer George Hudson proposed a 2-hour difference so he could collect insects in the evening summers, which is quite interesting. Personally, I'm not really a fan of daylight saving time just because I think it messes with the circadian rhythm, and that's why it's such up for debate. Many are against daylight saving time just because of the side effects for the health and the sleep, the lack of sleep, and it just messing up your schedule. There was the Sunshine Protection Act tried to become passed by Congress, but it's still pending just because many states do have it implemented, and it would kind of mess everything up. So yeah, that's our topic for today. What do you guys think about daylight saving time? Do you agree with it, or what are your opinions?
Thank you, Olivia. Savings time is a good time. And now we're going to send it over to Ian for our final look at our local weather.
Well, we are going to warm up very briefly on Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, 60, 61, and 67. But as rain showers move in towards the start of the work week, we're going to cool down again. 20% chance of rain in the evening on Monday. Thunderstorms, 40% chance on Wednesday. Definitely going to want to keep an eye on the forecast as we head into the rest of the week and we start to cool back down, 53 degrees on Wednesday.
That's all for your Cardinal weather for this Friday morning. Thanks for joining us.
We'll see you next Friday. Have a great rest of your Friday and a fantastic weekend.
Let's move this back.